year was 2019. I was looking to buy my first luxury watch, and I went out to the boutiques and tried on a Cartier. I tried on Chrono Swiss. I was about to end the night when I decided to walk into the IWC boutique, and I fell in love with the IWC Mark 18. The Mark 18 is an interesting watch. The 44mm diameter paired with a 50.5 lug-to-lug measurement meant that it was going to wear much larger than the numbers would suggest. But because of its lightweight and its relative thinness, it's very comfortable on my 14.5cm wrist. I had previously struggled with the Tudor Black Bay Heritage due to the sheer thickness of the watch, clocking in an almost 15mm. It made me realize watch collecting is definitely an expensive journey. Ever since I've tried on the Mark 18, it's always been on my mind for years, 2 years to be precise. It was only when I was leaving a job last year that I decided to pull the trigger on my birthday using my payout. The timing felt right, and I felt good about the purchase, and here we are talking about this watch. There's a lot of reasons why I love this watch, but I think I can pinpoint 3 main ones to talk about today: brand affiliation, simplicity, and practicality. I'm a sucker for affiliations, and of the many brands that exists in the mid-luxury segment, IWC spoke to me the most. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great watches out there with amazing history, brands like Tag Heuer and Tudor making great watches like Carrera and the Black Bay. However, Tag Heuer never really truly spoke to me as a watch brand because it feels like they focus a lot more on the contemporary with avant-garde designs on the Carrera series. And I could never truly get rid of Tudor's brand image of being Rolex's little brother, even though the brand is now clearly standing on its own 2 feet and making ripples in the watch industry with the 58 and other chronos. IWC, on the other hand, simply works for me. The brand exudes an air of heritage and history, with its DNA reflecting in its many lines of watches, most notably the Portugieser and the Pilots. To me, the brand's direction is very straightforward. The continuity of innovation while always looking back and remembering its roots. That in itself was very attractive to me, and it made me feel enough emotions to hand over my credit card. Many brands have brand ambassadors. Rolex has movie director James Cameron. Omega has James Bond. IWC also has a number of brand ambassadors like Tom Brady, Lewis Hamilton, and John Mayer, most notably, is a major collector of IWC Pilot watches. Watching these accomplished individuals wearing IWC and actively endorsing them in public domain inspires me to be like them and forge my own path with IWC Pilot on my wrist as well. The brand is obsessed with performance, and if it's good enough for them, it's definitely good enough for me. I've always imagined myself as a bit of a flashy person, but in reality, I'm very far from it. Wearing a red pair of New Balance is as much color as you will see on me. That's the reason why the IWC Mark 18 spoke to me. The simple blue dial, thin case profile, and almost a fully satin polished case is as simple as it gets for a watch. No frills, no gimmicks, no overly reflective bracelets. The charm of this watch lies with the fact that it's designed with time telling and time telling only, and now it comes with blue sunburst flavor for a touch of luxury. Speaking of luxury, the watch also has a slight bevel running along the lugs that reminds us all that despite of its military background, it's still very much a luxury product. The simplicity of this watch also means that it's extremely versatile, the Mark 18 being perfectly capable of being dressed up and dressed down. I've got the watch on an Artem sailcloth strap from Australia, and I would say that it fits most if not all the situations and functions I will attend, such as business lunches, weddings, or just a coffee run down to the cafe around the corner. Wearing it with a suit, or in t-shirts and jeans, the Mark 18 is perfectly capable and at home. The Mark 18 is also a very practical watch through and through, and to me that's the basic requirement of it to be classified as an aviation watch. The hour and minute hands are generously loomed and takes up quite a bit of real estate on the watch dial. And with that, it becomes extremely easy to read the time at a glance, and something I can imagine that fighter pilots or race car drivers may need to do in high pressure situations. In low light situations, the white painted numerals and the loomed minute and hour hands does a wonderful job of telling time without having to be tilted towards a light source to get a clear read. And you might think, we've got phones for that. And to that I say, fair, but I do like to make my life a bit harder than necessary. The watch's water resistance rating of 6 bars means to say that it would cover all of my water activity needs, which is none. I hate water sports, I don't go swimming, I don't associate myself with anything related to water besides for hydration and hygiene purposes. Before the pandemic, I used to be a frequent flyer, and once the pandemic clears up, I will probably be back in the sky again for both business and pleasure. The aviation nature and aspirations of this watch fits perfectly with my lifestyle, though one might also argue that I should pick up a Universal Genève Pro router, and that might fit the bill a bit better. And they're right. I will pick one up in the future. I'm starting to understand what kind of watch collector I am, and I think it's something along the lines of a collector who aspires to collect one watch collection watches, if that makes sense. The Mark 18 is perfectly capable of being your only watch if you are looking for just one watch to handle your daily life and be a life companion. And I've always related to the romanticism of having an item that will tell my story once my time is up, and the item will come to represent my being, my memory, an heirloom piece basically. And for these reasons, I feel like the IWC Mark 18 has a permanent place in my collection of one watch collection watches. And it should have a place in yours too.